Hello everyone, and welcome to another entry in What If Some Other Random Character Was a Trainee in Umamusume Pretty Derby. In this video, I'm going to take a look at a horse that became legend in his universe of origin and give him a full rework into the game. Today, I'm going to be showcasing what if Invincible, the steed of the Lich King Arthas Ascension from Warcraft, would be like if he was in Umamusume Pretty Derby. Invincible was the chosen steed of Arthas Ascension, the crown prince of Lordaeron, who would go on to become the Lich King. When he was young, Arthas himself helped bring Invincible into the world, a sleek, white-furred foal. Too small to be a warhorse, Invincible was Arthas' chosen mount for pretty much any other activity. A particular favorite was to ride through the countryside and leap over embankments. But one day, as if the cold winds of winter itself came to collect its due, Invincible lost his footing during the jump and shattered his forelegs. Too far away to seek any sort of attention, Arthas was forced to put his steed out of his misery. However, this would not be the end for the two of them. 7 years later, Arthas, now a Death Knight, returns to Invincible's grave and raised the steed from the dead. Even in non-death, Invincible was ever loyal to his rider, and free from the binds of life, he was stronger and faster than ever. When he galloped, he moved with unnatural swiftness and could even be made a specter, disappearing and reappearing at his rider's command. The bond the two formed could not be broken. During the invasion of Quel'Thalas, Invincible's forelegs were severed, causing Arthas to descend further into rage. After the battle, the Lich King repaired his steed's legs with necromantic energy. Even as the tides of war shifted against the Lich King and his influence over the Scourge dwindled, Invincible stayed by his master's side until the very end. Speaking of that bond, the Death Knight said it was the one thing he felt he did completely right. This is evident in the English translation of the song mourning Invincible's loss. Steed, stalwart companion, I mourn your loss. You are the first in battle, even in death. Last to retreat, even so in death. Alas, I have lost a part of myself. So, in translating Invincible over to Pretty Derby, several things must be achieved. Unnatural swiftness, the ability to endure grueling marches, and impossible resilience and loyalty. Taking these into account, I believe there is but one style that fits her. Invincible is an end closer. She'll hang in the back before surging forward, obeying the command of the race's rhythm. Like the Scourge's swarm, her advance is inevitable.
I am inevitable.
And she will find her way to the front, for the race and her obligations demand it. To accurately reflect this in her stats, we need several things: high speed, high stamina, and an unbreakable spirit. Thus, I believe Invincible would have this as her stat spread. 100 speed, 95 stamina, 90 power, 80 guts, and 84 wit. On top of all of that, she'll gain a 20% growth to stamina and 10% to speed. Now, on to skills. Her 3 innate skills are the following: Straightaway Recovery, which helps her recover endurance on a straight. Snowy Days, which moderately increases performance during snowy weather. And Level-Headed, which helps her maintain composure when the way ahead is blocked. In her niche element, Invincible is terrifyingly consistent. This is made clearer as we look into her potential level skill hints. At second level, she further hones her straightaway skill with Straightaway Spurt, which slightly increases acceleration on a straight in the last spurt. At level 3, she gets Intense Gaze, which slightly unnerves runners' focus late race. Taking advantage of her level-headed innate, she gains Masterful Gambit at 4th level. With Masterful Gambit, she moves up slightly in preparation to close the gap when positioned towards the back late race. At the final level, she gains Encroaching Shadow, which increases acceleration on the straight in the last spurt. This is the upgrade of Straightaway Spurt. And to hammer it all in, we have her unique skill, the March of the Damned. Almost as if harnessing instincts of a past life, Invincible marches forward, gaining a slight, steady boost of velocity during the final third of the race. Additionally, as if the chill of Northrend itself and the cries of the fallen follow her, those she overtakes has their velocity slightly reduced for a short time. Invincible will march forward, eternally and unwavering, until she reaches the goal. Those nearby will know the chill of the endless winter. Invincible is not built for short races. Sprints and miles are not her forte. When others falter, she continues, unbroken and unbending, as she surges from behind. However, she's unique in a very special way. Much like how Arthas would take Invincible riding through glades, forests, and all manner of elements, here, that's translated into a very high affinity for dirt tracks, even higher than turf, actually. I want to take a quick moment to talk about her design, as some elements come from the horse itself, while others come from the rider. Of course, toning down the edge significantly. There are some simple things from the horse, dark hair reflecting the dark coat, the skull belt buckle reflecting the skull on the armor, the cyan eyes are the same color as the horse's, and the undead under the command of the Lich King. The blue jewels are similar color to the ones found on Invincible's bit. The dark gauntlets and pauldrons are a reflection of the darker armor on both horse and rider. But most of the detail went into the outfit, drawing from Arthas himself. Besides the dark armor, the dark fabric is reflective of the dark cloth on his armor. The ear cover is reflective of his helmet, the Helm of Domination. And that skull keeping the bow on? That's the skull found on Frostmourne, Arthas' sword. There are several points I would like to see fleshed out in a potential career story mode, all of which hint at several points of Invincible's backstory. For the meeting the trainee section, it would start on the track, as many do, but with the catch that this is not Invincible's first time starting. To mirror her rise to undeath, we would start the moment she's been cleared to run again after a major leg injury, one that prevented her from completing her previous race and kept her out of action for a long time. Other off-stream Umamusume would comment that she seems like a completely different person, now much more solemn and reserved, whereas before she was much warmer. In fact, she herself would even state that her previous racewear now seemed like it belonged to someone else, that a new set had arrived not much earlier. The first part of her arc would be returning to racing and fully reintegrating into academy life. During the second part, after she's grown into her confidence again, tragedy strikes. At the conclusion of a major race, the trainer brings her into the infirmary to have the doctors check on her, only for them to discover yet another major injury in her legs. Injuries to the degree of which would require extensive medical care, surgical repair, and rehabilitation. Following the surgery, she would have to relearn simple things such as balance, stride, and overall movement. This is drawn for the moment in WoW, where Arthas mends Invincible's legs with necromancy after they have been severed. The final year would boil down to finally learning her to trust herself and her own instincts, choosing to run for her own joy rather than out of obligation or supposed duty. However, through it all, she remains ever loyal to her trainer. The canon story of Invincible is quite tragic, and I wanted to mirror that here, but in a way that's more appropriate for Pretty Derby. Thus concludes the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and until next time,